morning, and welcome to a bright, sunshiny Winnipeg. Yeah, I just heard recently that we might be having a nice day today, which means a quick scoot. And I did get out yesterday. Not very long, but just long enough that I was able to warm up the engine and rev it up. The last couple of blocks home is a stretch where I can get away with it. I hope I can anyway. Okay, what are we going to do today? We're going to try and get some little parts down. And, I did make the soup yesterday. I finished it off. I think I mentioned that. It's in jars. I have 5 of these. And there was a little bit left over in the bottom of the pressure cooker after I ladled it into the sealers or jars or whatever you call them. And what we've got going on here is an awful lot of meat. Yeah, this is more like a stew. And in fact, I'm thinking that this would probably do better as a something that you would ladle over potatoes, you know. Yeah, it'd be sort of like a meat sauce. And this stuff on the top here, that is the fat that is boiled out of the meat in the pressure cooker. I had this in the pressure cooker for an hour, so it had lots of chance to boil the fat out of the meat, which it did. And the meat was a combination of ground beef and ground pork. Now, when I bought it, I didn't realize it wasn't pure hamburger or pure beef. I didn't read the label carefully. I just saw it there on the shelf, and I thought, that looks good. And I threw it in my cart. Yeah. Yeah, it's not very smart, is it? Anyway, I'm sure it's going to be just fine. I'm still in the process of figuring out how many calories there's going to be per gram of soup and how many cents per gram of soup it costs, just for the fun of it. I was working on that a bit this morning, then I realized, oh my goodness, I haven't even gone to the model table yet. And Missy the dog is going to be coming by. That's right. Max last night told me that he's going to be by this morning. And for a while there he thought he wasn't going to, but he's not having his hip surgery until late this afternoon, so he's probably going to be in. I would say, what do we got here? He could come by with Missy any minute, so we're ready. Yeah, we'll try and squeeze as many of those Missy moments in as possible. There are people that actually enjoy it. And I'm sure there are people that just scrub ahead and get to where I actually do something here. So, yeah, we're all different. Yeah. Okay, I don't have anything else to say. I haven't seen the walkers yet. If I happen to spot them, I'll dub them in somewhere. Let's get started here and drop down some of these pieces. Yeah. Okay then, going from left to right, and if you remember, we're not going to be using the lights because they've been drilled out for LEDs. And the first piece will be this right here, and I have checked ahead. It's this one, not this one. The next one, this one we do on the next step. Okay. Now, I'm just doing a dry fit here. Just let me move you in a bit. Okay, it's supposed to go in that socket like that, and it does. Now, it looks like it's the wrong way around, but when we view this thing, I don't know if it's going to stay there or not, But when we view this part, it's well, anyway, it's going to be at an angle like this. So then our part, whoops. So then our part is going to be like this. So even though it looks upside down right now, when we turn this the way it's supposed to go. Okay, let's get this back in there. I think I'll use the Tamiya thick again, and well, I call it thick. It's regular. It's actually not. It's not really thick, but yeah. And I'll try to very carefully. Maybe I should put the macro lens on so that you can yell at me. Okay, now I'm going to try and get the excess off of the applicator here so it doesn't suddenly run down and go dripping into the... Oh, somebody was mentioning that this is the pressure hull, not the overhead bulkhead. And I think they're right, because it is cylindrical. Okay, I think we got enough there. Now, I'm just going to have to readjust this off camera here. Now, I think that this is supposed to be vertical or at right angles to the surface that it's plugged into. Okay, I think once that dries, it's going to be okay. I wonder, should it be? Yeah, because that round pipe thing has to go in this. Yeah, you know, I was going to cut that and see how big that is. It could be that I've got this piece too far back this way, but I don't think so. I think it's probably down now, but as far as it's going to go, I'm just going to get that pipe. Okay, I got our pipe here, but when I was checking the manual and also the painting and marking guide, I'm realizing that this pipe doesn't go the way I think it does. Now I've got the end bulkhead pressure fitted onto the pressure hull, and so I have to be careful here, otherwise I'm going to knock it off. But actually this pipe goes on top of these brackets, not on the inside. I had thought that somehow, let's see if I can get it here, I had thought that because of the shape of the bracket it was supposed to go like this, but it's not. It's supposed to go on the top. And then, yeah, and anyway, when we get to that part, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, at least it's interesting to me. So, another place I was wrong. Okay, the next piece is the Y11. And just a moment ago, I noticed that Max came out the door with Missy the dog. Now, I don't think it matters which way this goes up or down. I think it's the same either way. So we're going to deal with that afterwards. We don't want to miss Missy on the last day for a while here. Good morning. What do you smell, Missy? What do you smell? Huh?
Delivery man or somebody.
Yeah, somebody was at the door, and you had to check it out. Sorry this morning, Max.
hungry.
You're hungry.
By the time I get home tonight, it'll be 24 hours since I ate.
Oh my goodness. For me, that wouldn't make a whole lot of difference because I got so much energy stored up, all smeared all around me.
Well, yeah, and you're accustomed to it. You're accustomed to fasting.
Yeah, that's right. My eating habits are really sporadic.
Well, your soup looks great.
Yeah, I'm going to see if maybe by putting the jars in the fridge, if the fat that has gone to the top, I can sort of pick it off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that way it'll be a little bit less caloric.
Yes.
Yeah. So when do you have to get picked up to go?
Well, Brady is going to drop me at the hospital at 11.
11, okay. So that's
Surgery's at 1.
That's in about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice of you to be able to stop in one last time here. Well, I shouldn't say one last time. That didn't
One
sound
last
good.
time for a while.
Yeah, for a while.
For sure.
Okay. Well.
So there's some venison in there somewhere, is there?
Yeah, there's venison and very tiny little pieces of venison. That's all that's left in that bag now. Yeah. Missy, you gonna come say goodbye? All right. So we'll be seeing you in a few days, or maybe we'll see you once in a while, Singer. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Ron.
Okay, we'll see you.
Missy House. Goodbye to Ron.
See you later.
See you later.
Missy the dog. Missy the dog. Okay. Now, where were we here? Okay, so what I'm going to be doing now off camera is I'm putting a little bit of extra thin on the inside of that box. And my hope is that it will run down. I think that's seated. Okay, now you remember this one here? This is the one that we had to drill the hole in the bottom, and the needle was too small for the hole. And if you remember, just let me see if I can rearrange this here so I can show you. What I had to do was sand the bottom to get rid of the CA glue. I've also put some on the bottom of this part, so it softened it somewhat. Ooh. Let's not go smearing paint all over the place now. I think it's supposed to go right up against this rib here. But something has to go right here, so we don't want it to be too far forward. Yeah, I think that's more or less in place. Now, here I've gotten a little bit ham-handed with my glue, and I might have put a little bit too much on. Okay, that's seated. I think once that dries, it'll be okay. Okay, now this is the CA thick. Okay, and I'm just going to sort of do a dry run here. You can see on the back of that center dial where there's some kind of glue or something. Now this is supposed to go like this. These pegs are supposed to go in those holes. I do have a faint recollection of trying this. Okay, and then these parts here are supposed to simulate attaching to these lines right here, which a real modeler would probably very delicately paint or maybe use some sort of, yeah, that looks like it's, okay, I don't want to squeeze too hard and break that off. I'm just putting a little bit of thick on the back of the dial where the pegs are. Okay, now this one took me a while to figure out how it's supposed to go. But if you look closely, you can see on the bottom of that there is a little square peg that is supposed to go. So let me reposition here a bit. And it's supposed to go like this. And fit in there. I can almost feel it. There. No, that's not it. Maybe it would be better if I grabbed it like this. That pretty much goes into place, doesn't it? No, that's not it. Okay, where is that thing now? No, I've lost it. You can hardly see it. Do I have this wrong? Okay, this doesn't seem to be at the right angle. If I turn this thing, I think it's supposed to go like this. Just let me steady the manual here. Okay, I was completely wrong. It's supposed to go like this. Now, how am I going to keep that from slumping? I'm gonna have to build up some kind of a jig to hold it like this while the glue dries. Yeah, I'm 90% sure that's the way it's supposed to go. But this is going to take me a while to rig up a jig. So I think I'm going to call her quits for today's episode. We made a little bit of progress, but not as much as I would have liked, of course. Thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we're going to see you tomorrow. Oh, by the way, we had a power failure yesterday. That was kind of, I went out on my motorcycle, and when I came back home, everything was dark for about 2 hours. And then my furnace wouldn't start, so I had to get furnace people in. Yeah, so I had to pay a service call for that. But hey, that's life, you know. Okay, now we'll see you tomorrow, and thanks for watching.